Don't tell me. We're about to go over a huge waterfall.
Yep,
Sharp rocks at the bottom?
most likely.
Hey, did you know that during every single economic crash, people start calling expensive liquor luxuries? Dude, your coping mechanism is literally bankrupting your entire future. I'm a millennial. I was born in 1985, but I also drank alcohol for 24 years. I even had an addiction for 2.5 years. For example, in 2020, during the beginning of the pandemic, did you know that online liquor sales went up 243%? Liquor sales were $41 billion, all because we weren't allowed to go outside. Pandemic drinking habits became normalized, and because of the boredom, there were more alcoholics born during the pandemic than pretty much any other time period in history. Do you think it's a coincidence that 3.5 million people a year die from the same liquor that we're using to manage our boredom? 8 years ago, when my liver failed, I was drinking the cheap stuff, the $10 bottle of Amsterdam that I got at CVS. But during economic downturns, when people have less money, they actually save more. They actually feel they deserve more. So they spend more on higher price liquor just to feel fancy. We're all out here talking about we can't afford the eggs, we can't afford the groceries, we can't afford the therapy or the coaching or a better life, but we can afford the poison that makes life even more difficult to handle. Liquor doesn't make the recession easier to deal with. It makes you harder to deal with inside the recession. Every single sip numbs your awareness to how much money we're losing, how fast the stocks are crashing, how little income we're making. And that's their point. They need you ignorant to the reality. The sicker you are, the more miserable you are, the more money they make. Alcohol might be the product. Alcohol may even be considered the service, but your suffering is literally their business model. It's projected that in 2025, liquor sales are going to reach over $1 trillion. You want to know something crazy? People that are struggling financially end up buying less beer, and they spend more money on higher proof liquors because liquor feels like a bigger payoff. It feels like you're getting more buzz for your buck. Some people are gonna like this fact, but alcohol is a carcinogen. It causes 7 types of cancer, breast cancer specifically. And guess who's actually more likely to start practicing deep alcoholic behavior? Women. The only reason I'm making this is because I've personally supported thousands of people, worked one-on-one with hundreds, and a majority of the people I've had the privilege of working with all started practicing their alcoholic behavior because of an economic downturn, aka COVID. They drank because they were bored. They drank because they had nothing to do. They bought the cheapest liquor because they only had a couple bucks. And in time, the first thing they did in the morning was reach for that beer. They started making those mimosas. A screwdriver became their best friend. And in time, they couldn't find a way to stop. I used to do all of that. I used to drink the pain away. I wouldn't think about anything. I would just drink about everything. I thought that it was just beer, so it wasn't actually an ethanol. I thought it was just 5 glasses of wine. It wasn't really that bad because it wasn't a whole bottle of liquor. But alcohol is alcohol. There's a reason why there are 0 health benefits to consuming a literal poison. It's trippy to even think about. The 2 most commonly purchased things were toilet paper and tequila during the pandemic. I shared this message with love. I know alcohol feels like it's a temporary relief, but really, it is going to become the pressure that you're trying to escape from. It's okay not to be okay, but numbing the pain doesn't solve the pain. That's why I'm here, dude. I love that we're all making light of this recession, that we're leaning towards alcohol and processing mechanisms because we deserve to live one more day. But the analytics and the history show that it's not just a joke, it's a literal trend. It is a cycle. If you or someone you know is reaching for the bottle a little bit more these days, or you're preparing your lifestyle to make sure that you've got enough alcohol in that freezer so the stock market doesn't feel like it's crumbling your entire life, maybe we should practice reaching less for the bottle and start reaching more for a conversation. So if you're a millennial, Gen Z, boomer, Gen X, hell, Gen Alpha, and you're struggling in this space, don't be afraid to check my page for more detail on how I would love to support you.